The Supreme Court has today declined to entertain a PIL that sought investigation into the genocide and exodus of Kashmiri Pandits and Sikhs in the 90s from Kashmir. It has also asked for a scheme for rehabilitation and protection of the assets and property of those Hindus and Sikhs who were forced to flee from that violence. We're speaking to Mr. Amit Raina from Roots in Kashmir. Sir, the petition, the court has said that we can't entertain, this is in the domain of the executive. What does this now mean? Has there any representation been filed before the government over the last several decades?
When in 2017 Roots in Kashmir approached the Supreme Court, it was only because after multiple, and when I say multiple, means thousands of petitions which were submitted to the executive, to the government, did not see any response, did not see action. We chose to knock the doors of the highest court of justice. Unfortunately, in the wisdom of the then Chief Justice, he chose to dismiss the petition. And now they are today saying us that you go back to the executive after 5 years and repeat the process again. So I honestly don't know what to say. While somewhere I see a hope that the doors of justice have not been closed, they have still left something open for us to come back to the court. But I think today judiciary and executive are using Kashmiri Pandits as a football between the two systems of this between the system in this country, and it is a very I'm not very happy with what has happened today. A court which has taken so moto cognizance in multiple cases. They have taken so moto in Gujarat. They have taken so moto in 84 rights. They have taken so moto in the BCCI elections. I think the lives of thousands of people who have died, the justice to 500,000 people who are victims of genocide and ethnic cleansing deserves more respect from the highest court in this country, because it is about the rights of the citizen. Every article in the constitution was being violated when the genocide on Kashmiri Pandits was being done, and is continued to being done. And the Supreme Court should have stepped in and ordered the executive today, saying form an SIT, form and fast track the investigation and come back to us.
With a change in the government, especially after 2019, this petition that had come from We the Citizens, that you are not a party to this particular case that had come today. This petition that had come from We the Citizens has gone into the history of the violence in Kashmir, history of the religious conflict in Kashmir, and it has also said that rehabilitation and protection of the assets and property of the people who were forced to leave, that should also be done. Has the government of India at any point of time in the last 3 decades or in the last 3-4 years taken any steps in this regard?
Ma'am, there is an attempt by Government of India to rehabilitate Kashmiri Pandits, but I would say it is a half-hearted attempt. It is more of a whitewash, because unless and until you do not deliver justice to Kashmiri Pandits, you cannot expect to live with the same neighbor who was responsible for our genocide. You cannot, unless and until you do not identify the reasons and the causes that led to the genocide and ethnic cleansing of Kashmiri Pandits, you cannot put them back to be sacrificed again as sacrificial lambs. So our demand to the Government of India has been very simple in the judiciary, saying that find out the causes which led to our genocide and ethnic cleansing, fast track the cases, deliver justice, and basis those findings form an rehabilitation policy on how Kashmiri Pandits have to be settled back. Because today you are doing experimentation with lives of the people, and that is which is very disappointing. You need to find out the exact reasons what led to the exodus of Kashmiri Hindus from the valley, and then address those concerns.
Thank you very much. This was Mr. Amit Raina from the NGO Roots in Kashmir, which has also earlier moved a plea before the Supreme Court on similar grounds, asking not only for investigation into the causes of the genocide, but also punishment of the persons responsible and the rehabilitation of Kashmiri Pandits and Sikhs who were forced to move out from the state due to the violence. The Supreme Court has said that the issue of investigation into the Kashmir genocide and rehabilitation of the Kashmiri Pandits and Sikhs who were forced to flee the state due to the violence is the exclusive domain of the executive, and it is the executive that needs to take some action in this. They have declined to entertain the petition filed on this issue, but has said that the petitioners should go and file a representation before the Government of India. We're speaking to Advocate Barun Sinha, who's a lawyer for the petitioner NGO We the Citizens. So what will now be your next step? Court has said this is the domain of the executive.
You see, the today's order of the Honorable Supreme Court is very optimistic. The issue which has not seen light of the day since 1990 onwards has been revived today. So we have to see the order passed by the Honorable Supreme Court in a very positive manner. Second, that Honorable Supreme Court has granted liberty to the petitioner to approach the competent authority with the prayer made in the writ petition. Because the Honorable Supreme Court has observed that this is the issue first to be considered by the executive. Unless the executive considers this, we cannot interfere in the matter. Therefore, liberty has been granted to the petitioner to approach by way of representation to the competent authority. Once the competent authority, if refuses to entertain, liberty has been granted to the petitioner to approach the Supreme Court again. So therefore, I am saying it is revival of the issue, and we are hopeful that the central government and the state government will consider this aspect sympathetically. They are aware of the exodus and genocide of the Hindus and Sikhs of Valley. So we are optimistic that now this grievance of the Kashmiri Hindus, Sikhs will be taken care of, and now they will get justice.
So why did you not move a representation before the government before coming to the court directly?
That we have confessed before the Honorable Supreme Court, that when the question was posed to us, we confessed that we have not approached the competent authority. Therefore, the Honorable Supreme Court said, first we approach the
So that is my question. There are several organizations, associations of Kashmiri Pandits who've been working on this for a while. Your NGO has now stepped into this issue. Your NGO has now filed this PIL, and the court has said go to the authorities first. So are you in touch with any of the organizations who've been working with Kashmiri Pandits? Were you aware of the kind of representations or demands or petitions that were filed before?
You see, We the Citizen is working in the territory of Jammu and Kashmir prior to 2010. And this is evident from the fact that Article 35A was challenged by We the Citizen for the first time in the year 2014.
That is my question. आप लोगों ने कोई representation इस issue पर कभी file की थी सरकार के साथ?
I have said clearly to the Honorable Court that we have not filed any representation, and now we wish to file. Therefore, the Honorable Court has granted liberty.
So what will now be your next step?
We are going to file a comprehensive representation before the competent authority, which will include central government and state government both.
Thank you very much, sir. So the NGO, We the Citizen, which had approached the Supreme Court, now saying they will file a representation before the government. But other organizations led by Kashmiri Pandits and Sikhs have said that for years they have been waiting for the government, for the courts to take some action. The question now is, this PIL has once again brought this issue back into the headlines. This PIL has once again raised the point that nothing has been done over the years for the investigation into the genocide or for the rehabilitation of the Kashmiri Pandits and Sikhs who were forced to leave the valley in the 90s due to the violence. The issue now is, will the government now take some action for their rehabilitation, for their aid? In New Delhi, with cameraman Ashwini Helan, this is Anisha Mathur for India Today.